again, here's the overall sketch of this. And we take a look, it's an exaggerated line creating this whole form that everything then rests upon. The head, for example, of this cat face, still a circular shape with that center line and that circle, just like from before, only now the nose becomes this snout. The eye line has the eye lines kind of, the expression is kind of a frontal face. So here's the oval for that one eye that you can see. The other one, you're going to have to determine the perspective if you think you can see it. I'm going to put just a little bit of it just to give it so you can see both sides of it. But again, if I put in the pupil and the iris, it does have the eye focused as it comes down with this little loop in there. But the circular part for the nose is brought out as another piece. Found the center line for it, and a triangular shape brought up on the top. And that's giving you the nose itself. So from there you can see the cat with the cheeks and the whiskers for that, for the right underneath the nose there. So I just put a couple just so you can see it. The mouth is an extension underneath this part, so you can kind of see it kind of has a frown. He's putting a little energy into this swing, and this lower lip, and then the chin. So at least it gives a little bit of that started off into that section. If you remember the other one doing the skeletal structure, so here's this center line. The line of action is kind of over-exaggerated into this piece. And the shoulders are kind of foreshortened with the top to the bottom. It gets down to these hips. You don't really see it, but it's inverted of that selection. And these lines, if you were to try to think of it for the skeletal piece, exaggerating this again, comes down to the heel, and the heel's up a little bit because they're standing on their toes. So just finding that direction. And there's the line for the skeleton. Same on the other side, only in this case, there's the line of action, so you want it to really feel as if it's placed in there. And if you locate the heel of the foot, it makes it so you can take the angle of the rest of the foot in that direction. Again, just going to put a circular shape for the feet, and then go back up to the torso for a circular shape, the hips, and that's where it's going to connect the tangent of that, but that's again in this line of action. So make sure it bends itself. Gets up to the hands, and it's tricky. You might have to hold your own hands just to see how they're holding this stick, or in this case, this looks like a bat without a handle on it. And they have the right arm, still a cylindrical shape, but it's exaggerated, so there's the squash, and in this case the stretch. And your hand is going in this direction, so the thumb is on the opposite side. But if you can find a circular shape that has that wrapping around, so I'm placing these pieces here. I wouldn't see the thumb on the other side, but I'd see the other hand on the other side of the cat, the left hand, and that's where you're going to see the thumb on this side. So you're trying to position this wooden mallet that they have, or stake. I'm just going to keep it as what they have. Give it a rounding edge out here, and let that come out to this piece. So you're not really seeing, you're seeing the three kind of cat fingers coming around this way, and in this case you'll see the thumb as it wraps around there. So you kind of have to, feel your own hand as in that position, try to get that action and see exactly how that kind of bat they have is being stretched across. And again, that'll give you a little bit more motion. A lot of animators do that. They try to act out the form or act out the action that's actually happening in their drawing. And you'll do the same, so as it comes through. Now when I take a look at the cat, yours may be in a different slight proportion to this, but there's the top of the head, just drawing through the arm. Don't worry about the sketch that's there. But that gives you this overall piece. So there it is again, just from a distance. Come back in and you can see the arm as it's stretched, and it kind of forms the underside of the belly of the cat. You can see the other arm, and again that's going to have that, follow that line of action there. And let it come down to the tail, which is nothing more than the cylindrical shape, so follow that with the fur. And an expressive part is the way the feet are touching the ground. I'm going to locate a heel if you can. I'm going to add it in there a little bit more than they have. Here's the circular part for the toe. They're kind of on their tiptoes doing this. And wrap this around in perspective. So they're putting all their weight in the backstroke. Now it comes down. So there it is. Now this character, see the hip and the kind of the leg coming down. And again, finding the heel of the foot, just to give it a little bit more action there. Circular parts for the toes wrapping around. And again, always thinking of this line of action, even if the character is stationary, but there you have a little bit more of it laid out. And just go for some of the details. Now, I'm going to ink this in, but I still want to make it pretty accurate with the drawing. So looking at all these extra little pieces up here. And just kind of building it in. So it gets pretty good. Seeing how far this cat, I might leave the ear open on that side. Taking a look at the eyes. So the center line that kind of has a little bit of the fur calico down the middle. This is where you have to get a little more comfortable with the character. So if you're doing your own character, you have a what they call a style sheet, shows them in different front, side, and back views, 3/4 views. Goes the same with this stuff. And then these subtle overlapping. So this leg overlaps the center part of the pelvis, and this one's coming down here. Okay, so there we go. Nicely drawn out. And if this was a drawing that you're just going to shade, it would follow those same samples as you'd work with your drawing, but there it is as a sketch. So the next step will be in inking this out.